Yeah, so now we're going to go into identifying our story and just some quick definitions. So there's the use of the word trigger, which I call an unexpected stimulus from the outside, and there's an associated story with it. And I can also be in a triggered state, so which for me is some kind of survival, unconscious survival reaction, and I can go into fight, flight, freeze, or appease. And this is kind of how I see it. So something happens, I get a trigger, and I experience it as a trigger bullet. There's a story that I make up about it, and then I have a reaction. So that's the general dynamic that I'm assuming here. So now we're going to get clear with our story. So our evaluations feed into a story that we're making up about what happened. So, so Jeffrey, I'd like to go back to you, and could you summarize sort of the story that you were making up about what was going on in your case?
Yeah, I'd say the story I was making up was that it was about me, that he wasn't being respectful to me or not being considerate of me or caring of me. And I guess I realized at the same time I could have made up a story that he was struggling with something for himself in his own situation that had nothing to do with me.
Okay.
But for some reason, I chose to make up the one about me.
All right. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeffrey just kind of made up a little paragraph there. And so I would like to invite you all in your space. So individually, each person, I'm going to give you about a minute to summarize what your story was, or at least the person A people that that were able to go summarize your story. I'm going to give you about a minute or so, and that's about what Jeffrey did right there. So summarize your story. And kind of going to the next step, if you can summarize your story with one judgment, like one sentence. Jeffrey, could you do that for us right now?
It was just being inconsiderate and uncaring of me as the judgment.
That you're being inconsiderate or he's being inconsiderate?
Yeah, if I was saying it to him, I would say you are being inconsiderate and uncaring of me.
Yeah, there you go. You're being inconsiderate and uncaring. All right, so were the person A people able to write down their stories? I'm going to assume that to be a yes. And for the people that did not participate, you can hopefully you can think of a situation when you were triggered. And I'd invite you right now to summarize what that judgment was in one sentence, because we're going to use that right now. So the invitation is for you to take your judgment and to play that judgment over and over in your mind for the next 30 seconds. He was so insensitive and uneducated. He was so inconsiderate. So just play that judgment over and over in your mind. All right, so that was about 30 seconds. I'd like to hear from two people on how you're feeling right now after repeating your judgment internally. If you could raise your hand, your digital hand, and just share that with the group. Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of was reluctant to, because I kind of felt that I wouldn't feel very good, and I didn't feel very good. So, but now I've tried to scrub it off my mind. So,
Thanks. So maybe you have a judgment of feelings that aren't pleasant.
totally.
I have a
right.
judgment that feelings that aren't pleasant aren't good. You know, so
Yeah.
anyway, so there's a meta judgment going on. Thank you, Alex. I see that Christy's hand's up. So, nope. Yes, there she is. Hi, Christy. Would you like to share? And I'm going to take one more, and then I would like to move on unless they're burning.
Okay, so let's see. How do I feel? I have a stomach ache. It gives me a stomach ache to repeat that to myself over and over and over again. Makes me feel terrible.
Thank you. Thanks for noticing that it shows up in your body as well. Thank you, Christy. So I see that there are 3 hands up. That's my observation. I wonder, someone that really wants to share, if you'd raise your visual hand, and otherwise I would like to move on. Kay, would you like to share how it was for you to repeat your judgment?
Yeah, I noticed myself starting to feel hot. My heart rate increased slightly. I spun even further off that one phrase and further alongside into the story, and just instantly became very fixated on the scenario again.
Thank you, Kay. And